I'm Norm. I'm a lawyer.
Norm, your last name, please?
Pattis.
Thank you.
Well, obviously, you heard what we have to say in court, and there is no point in repeating it. We deny the charges. We don't know where Mr. Dulos' ex-wife is. We are resolute and determined to try this case, and we believe fully that our client will be exonerated. I would ask everyone to put aside the easy narrative here that an angry ex-spouse took matters into his own hands to resolve a custody dispute. That didn't happen. Having said that, I don't know what happened. Be patient, stay tuned. We will look forward to seeing you all in court on the next occasion.
Why was his DNA on the faucet? Can you explain that?
No. He was in the house. You know where your DNA is?
No.
Why not?
Well, I'm not charged with tampering with evidence or hindering the prosecution.
But you are presumed innocent, and if your DNA turned up somewhere, would it be fair to make you give an explanation for wherever it was? If it was in an old boyfriend's house or your parents' home, would that make you guilty? Shame on you.
Norm, can you tell us a little bit about bond today?
He will make bond today, yeah. I mean, well, look, we have to find the passport. Assuming we can find the passport, we're obtaining entry into his home as we speak. Assuming we find the passport, he'll be out this afternoon.
Norm, we heard for the first time today that Fotis had been over to the house of Jennifer Dulos on the day, a couple of days before having dinner. We didn't know that before. Can you share any more information about that?
At the risk of being and sounding rude, there's lots you don't know.
Of course.
But everybody's reaching conclusions and hollering at me, where's the body? Stay tuned, let the case unfold in open court.
No, I was just asking specifically
the state has picked this fight. We'll win it.
Counselor, what do you make of the state dropping the DNA on the faucet and that he didn't want to enter the house? Did the state say something before it came to that court, or do you make that they did that for the reporters in the gallery?
Would you want the truth or you want some PR? We're both talking to the gallery. You told me that yesterday. Yeah.
Will Fotis and Michelle be allowed to see each other while they're on bail?
That topic has not come up as yet, so I think right now the current orders, at least as I understood them as to her, was not to have contact with him. Our advice would be to stay away from her at this point.
What about the cooperation with Michelle, with the authorities at this point?
Don't know what it means.
What did they told you? Have you given you any information?
Zero. There is something called the law enforcement privilege, which permits the state to not disclose investigative steps. They are cloaked in that. I spoke to her lawyer, Mr. Bowman, yesterday, and he just said he wouldn't speak to me 3 times, and I heard it for the 3rd time and let it go at that.
Does he have an alibi for the day of the disappearance? You talked about that
yes.
in court. Could you kind of outline where he was?
I'm going to save comments on the evidence for the courtroom, but I think we can account for his whereabouts for almost all of the time. The narrow window that it would have taken for him to drive down here and accomplish things would make it impossible for the crime to have been committed by him.
Was there any surveillance video that matches with his alibi?
If there is, I don't know it yet.
Well, was that him on Albany Avenue on all that surveillance? Have you been able to find out? Was that him?
Here's the troubling thing. I don't, I mean, I'm like all of you until this weekend. I'm reading about the case in the papers. Now I'm getting access to police reports. Somebody reported that they saw that the video surveillance picked up an image of her leaning out of the truck with a cigarette.
It's in the complaint.
She abhors smoking. And is never anywhere near cigarettes. If you read the warrant carefully, they've identified a truck, but they've never identified the marker number.
So you're saying he wasn't him? He wasn't. That wasn't him on 30 stops.
I've not seen the video yet. And what's more, just because there were 30 stops doesn't mean there were 30 bags. Everybody needs to focus on that. All right?
You used the term wild speculation in court. Care to elaborate on what you mean?
What organization do you work for? I'm sorry? You guys know what that means. We're done here. Thanks, guys.
Does she think she's still alive?